Price has been split, hence it's all bent.
He's got his sights set on Wheeler Lab, the new military think tank at MIT.
Well, they're only taking one this year.
Well, Hanson's used to being picked first.
Oh, yeah, he's wasted on men.
He should be running for president.
Emperor.
There could be a mathematical explanation for how bad your tie is.
You've been in here for 2 days.
You know, Hanson's just published another paper. I can't even find a topic for my doctorate.
Well, on the bright side, you've invented window art.
This is a group playing touch football. This is a cluster of pigeons who are fighting over breadcrumbs. And this here is a woman who was chasing a man who stole her purse.
John, you watched a mugging.
John?
Turn it off. Turn off the light.
Why would you do that? Why would you turn the light on?
What is wrong with you?
You have to go to your sister's. I left the car at the back. Make it to your Commonwealth. No side streets.
John.
Just stay where it's crowded.
John, I'm not going anywhere.
When you get to your sister's, you wait for me to call you.
No, I'm not going.
Just get your things.
I'm not leaving.
Stop! Stop it. Please, Alicia. I will explain when I can. Charles? I didn't mean to get you involved in this. I'm sorry. Charles? The prodigal roommate revealed. Saw my name on the lecture slate. You lying son of a bitch!
Who are you talking to? Tell me who you see.
How do you say Charles Herman in Russian? How do you say it in Russian?
There's no one there, John. There's no one there.
Code Red. Dr. Rosen, Code Red, Observation Room 2. Dr. Rosen, Code Red, Observation Room 2.
John? John?
No.
Hello, I need Dr. Rosen's office, please.
You gotta stop her, John.
You leave her out of this.
Who are you talking to?
It's not her fault.
John.
She'll compromise us again.
No, she won't.
You'll go back to the hospital.
John! Answer me!
Countless people will die.
Alicia, please, put the phone down.
I can't let that happen.
Yes. Hello! Hi, I need Dr. Rosen. Is he in?
I'm sorry, John.
No!
You know what you have to do, Nash. She's too great a risk.
Get away!
I didn't mean to hurt you. Finish her.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Nik Nur Shazwani binti Salim, BP 1911042, would like to present about my part in movie analysis about A Beautiful Mind. So basically, A Beautiful Mind is a 2021 film based on the real life of John Furnace Jr., which is a brilliant schizophrenic mathematician who is played by Russell Crowe. Steven NASA's biographical work, A Beautiful Mind, served as inspiration for this film. So this film does a timeline of John Nash's life, beginning when he enrolls in graduate school at Princeton to study mathematics, where the first indications of schizophrenia occur, and continue through his later years, including when he received the Nobel Prize while still struggling with his disease. As the chronology progresses, so does John's schizophrenia, which is exacerbated by his military service. And from this movie, we can obtain a glimpse of the lifelong problems that someone with a disability like schizophrenia will face by evaluating important or key scenes from this film. So the introduction of character, which is John Forbes Nash Jr., which is American mathematician and Nobel Prize laureate, and he is the subject of Steven NASA's biography, A Beautiful Mind. So in the movie, Nash is described as a young math prodigy who quickly ascends the academic ranks to become a pioneer of game theory, a field of mathematics studying interactions, negotiations, and decision-making. Yet his difficult, eccentric personality makes him somewhat of a pariah among other academics, instantly competitive, often aloof, and unsympathetic to others. Nash struggles to form lasting friendships. He also represses his sexual desires for other women, causing numerous rifts in his relationships. So at the age of 30, Nash begins to experience severe psychotic delusion and is diagnosed with schizophrenia. So he retreats from the world of mathematics and spends several decades in limbo, cut off from friends and family, and unable to return to his research. So during this period, he becomes known as the Phantom of Fine Halls, indicates he spends much of his time wandering through the Princeton campus where he had been a graduate student, his mind clouded by delusions. Credits his eventual recovery from schizophrenia to his own powers of mind, which is he works to separate reality from delusion, and his mathematical talents will help restore capacity for rational thought. So in 1994, Nash received the Nobel Memorial Prize in Academic Science and reconciles with his friends and family, including his ex-wife Alicia, whom eventually remarries. So for the introduction of schizophrenia, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental disorder that affects a person, thinks, feels, and behaves, and causes people to seem as if they are out of touch with reality. There are multiple symptoms that are associated with schizophrenia, but some of the most common are hallucinations, delusional behavior, and trouble focusing. There is no known cure or cause of schizophrenia. However, current research suggests that an imbalance of brain chemicals such as dopamine. So for the DSM-5 criteria, the specific DSM-5 criteria as follows, which is the presence of two or more following, which is in significant portion of time about 1 month, with at least one of them being delusion, hallucination, disorganized speech, grossly disorganized behavior, and negative symptom. For a significant portion of the time since the onset of this disturbance, level of functioning in one or more major is markedly below the level achieved before onset. When the onset in childhood or adolescence, the expected level of interpersonal, which is academic or occupational functioning, is not achieved. So continuous signs of disturbance persist for a period at least 6 months, which include at least 1 month of symptom. Prodromal symptoms often precede the active phase, and residual symptoms may follow it, characterized by mild or substantial forms of hallucinations or delusions.
Hello everyone. So today I will proceed with the group presentation under the section of symptoms for schizophrenia, in which the illness that we detected in the movie of A Beautiful Mind. So the first symptoms shown by the John Nash is the delusion, in which he seems to believe everything exists needs explanation, even though it is not reality based. So everything that exists and he can see upon his eye, he needs to explain it by his own logic. So he tends to do that. He tends to believe that everything do happens for a reason. Second is that social isolation. So John Nash, once in the movie, has shown that he shows reduced activity and inadequate amount of sleep in the movie. So this is shown when he did not even sleep for almost 2 days because he feels extremely nervous for his project. In addition to that, his hygiene quality also being neglected. So the third symptom for schizophrenia that we can see throughout this movie is that the suspiciousness. So suspiciousness is happen when John Nash always feeling scared of being hurt by the spies. He has hallucinated and locked himself out in the dark room. So in the movie, we can see that John Nash even bursts out his angriness toward his own wife, where he said that do not switch on the light, do not open the door, and make sure to be not to be alone when you're doing your job, because he afraid that the spies will hurt him and also hurt his wife, and also his daughter, his children. So the second symptom is hallucination. So hallucination in which he tends to communicate frequently with the two of character that he thinks exist. So one of the character that he thinks exists actually does not even exist, in which his own roommate during his university life. And then the second thing is when he met again with the roommates after years of graduating from university, and he also met the university friend's niece, in which the niece also actually didn't exist, but he emphasized that those two did exist. The next symptom is lack of insight. So lack of insight in which John Nash, he does not even recognize the importance of getting help for his condition at the first place. So this is some symptoms of schizophrenia in we can see, in which some patient actually doesn't even know that they have schizophrenia, and they doesn't even realize that they need help from the mental health professionals. So next is self-harm, in which John Nash actually he cut his own arm when he was locked in the mental institution. So why does he did so? Because actually individual who suffers from schizophrenia tend to hurt themselves instead of hurting others peoples, because they are quite extremely confused by the reality and also the imagination that they have regarding their own life. So last but not least is John Nash also suffer from trouble to sleep, in which he have difficulty to rest his mind and body for the another day. So this has make John Nash quite unstable emotionally, whether physically and emotionally, because he does have troubles in sleeping. So that's all for the symptoms of schizophrenia. So next, I will move on to the etiology, factors, and causes of this mental illness, in which we have discussed among the group members. So from the terms of etiology, actually schizophrenia once has been proved that it may be lead from the neurotransmitters problem, which is the imbalance change in the level of dopamine and serotonin for John Nash. So dopamine actually a part of neurotransmitters that actually in the brain helps us to regulate our own emotion and our own reality and our ability to make decision. So next is extreme stress. Extreme stress actually cause it do not cause schizophrenia, but it may trigger the development of schizophrenia in someone who already vulnerable, such as in this movie we focus more on the John Nash, in which John Nash actually he is under pressure to come up with his own idea to do his work for the university requirement. So next is neglecting medication. Neglecting medication also some of the factors that can actually lead to worsening the schizophrenia. So in this movie, John Nash has already been diagnosed late. However, the act of getting off the medication may lead to the increment of schizophrenia. As we all can see throughout this movie, John Nash has been detected late by his own therapist that he is actually suffering from schizophrenia. And apart from that, actually during his dischargement, and he also live is in his own house after that. But then since he has been off the medication, actually the schizophrenia keep getting worse and worse day by day. So next is schizophrenia also have been researched to be associated with other mental illness. It is found to be associated with anxiety disorder and obsessive compulsive personality disorder, in which in this John Nash movie, we have found that John Nash may also suffer from anxiety, in which he feels that extremely worried and extremely quite sad about his current condition, and also he is quite obsessed with the mission that the Russian spy he is said to be under the program, in which he is obsessed to finish the code. So he may not be diagnosed with these two conditions. However, the fact that he is being obsessive with the mission and tend to be anxious all the time may show signs of this illness. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, we will look at the prevalence rate of schizophrenia. First, we will look at the global statistic. Internationally, the prevalence of schizophrenia, which is the number of cases in a population at any one time, is approaching 1%. It is equivalent to 78 million people. The annual incidence or number of new cases is around 1.5 per 10,000 individuals. Men are diagnosed with schizophrenia at a slightly higher rate than women, on the order of 1.4 to 1. Men's onset is between 18 and 25 years old, whereas women's onset is between 25 and 35 years old, with a second peak around menopause. Next, we will look at the schizophrenia in Malaysia. According to the National Mental Health Registry in 2008, the incidence rate ranged from 7.7 to 43.0 per 100,000 people. The unemployment rate reached as high as 70%. The average length of untreated sickness was 12 months, and 20% of them had at least one sort of comorbidity. We will move on to the schizophrenia in the United States. The frequency of schizophrenia in adults in the US is estimated to be 1.5 million per year. Schizophrenia is often diagnosed in young people in their late teens to early 30s, with males experiencing symptoms earlier than females. In the US, people with schizophrenia lose an average of 28.5 years of their lives.
So today I am going to explain about an integrative treatment approach for schizophrenia. So under this integrative treatment approach, we have collaborative psychopharmacology, assistive community treatment, family psychoeducation, supportive employment, illness management and recovery, and integrated dual disorders and treatment. So for collaborative psychopharmacology, we can say that using antipsychotic medications to treat the main symptoms of the disorder, such as hallucinations, delusions, as well as using other medications for secondary symptoms. For example, antidepressants, medications for people with secondary depression. So the next is assistive community treatment. So for this aspect, we can understand that providing support in the community with emphasis on small caseloads for case providers, services in the community setting rather than a clinic and 24-hour coverage. So the next is family psychoeducation. Here, we can assist family members, including educating them about the disorders and its management, helping them reduce stress and tension in the home and providing social support. So the next is supportive employment. So provide sufficient support before and during employment so that the person can find and keep a meaningful job. So illness management and recovery also aspects that helping the individual become an active participant in treatment, including providing education about the disorder, teaching effective use of medication strategies for collaborating with clinicians, and coping with symptoms when they reoccur. So the last is integrated dual disorders treatment. Here we can understand that this treatment is the method of treating coexisting substance use.
After watching this movie, analyzing the details of key scenes and reading multiple online reviews and even reviews from the real John Forbes Nash Jr., we have come to a conclusion that this movie is able to accurately portray the intricacies of schizophrenia to the audience. Although the scenes may not always accurately depict what specifically happened to John Nash, they still portray ideas and facts about schizophrenia. So Russell Crowe's in this acting was great and helped enlighten the audience of what it's like to go through life with schizophrenia. However, we think John Nash's case of schizophrenia is very unusual and deviates greatly from the average schizophrenic individual we encounter. John was able to somehow put his schizophrenia into remissions without the use of medication, which seems to be something that most experts have not heard of. So the movie also incorporated all the correct views and sizes that was known in 1950s and 1960s that helps give the audience an authentic view what was known about the mental disability like schizophrenia. Overall, we think this movie is a great and accurate example of what it's like to live with schizophrenia and has the ability to educate individuals about what is known about disability.